Hi, everybody. Welcome to the SAP Press book club. And today's book is actually one of the best ones for the year. It is SAP S4HANA Cloud, an introduction, which is good because it's the book that we all need to know. Anybody who wants to know something about SAP S4HANA Cloud, or somebody who understands S4HANA Cloud but wants to know a little bit more about it. So today we have, I'm Kendall Tyler. I am the host of the SAP Press Book Club, and I'm here to interview Almer and Marcus. Marcus, we're trying to get in, but first we'll do Almer. So hi, Almer, how are you?
Good, I'm doing great. And I see Marcus here. I see his picture. So can we, he is under his D062665 number.
It's
Marcus,
my SAP ID number, so.
Okay. So
now Marcus, we know.
Wonderful. I'm doing fine. So we have today a very good day. The first time the weather in Germany, in Waldorf, is good. So it's a sunny, warm day. Yeah.
There you go. So now you've been at SAP for how long now?
22 years almost. So joined quite some years back.
22 years. It's been 22 years.
More than 20 years, 22 years. Yeah.
Excellent. And you are. Tell me what your title is.
I'm the head of S4HANA portfolio management. So basically, what do? I ensure that basically we still deliver groundbreaking capabilities in our products, so that our investment is balanced, so that we do the great new stuff, but that we also fulfill here and there some wishes of our customers. So overall, everything what goes into the product, where we're investing in terms of money or people, has to pass somehow my desk, or it needs to at least get my blessing, I would say. Yeah. So if
he's a good guy to do.
Favor of a topic, it doesn't mean that it's not coming, but it will be hard to bring the product.
That's pretty cool. Now we have Marcus. Hi, Marcus. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good.
Now tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do at SAP?
Yes. So my name is Marcus Homann. I work in SAP at product management for S4HANA Cloud. So currently I'm responsible for a set of capabilities in the product which deal with the communication to end users and customers via our product itself, by providing tailored information to the right users. So I'm with SAP since 10 years now. So sometimes, when I hear 22 years and so, I always feel a little bit, I'm still a youngster.
You are the youngster. Yeah. I know when I tell people I've been selling SAP for over 30 years, people are like, what? I was like, I was 10 when I started. I was like, yeah, I started back in our 2 days, believe it or not. Yeah, been around. So yeah, it's fun. It's great. It's a great community of SAP people that we've all made friends with over the years. And I think that's the neatest part about SAP, is that it is a very much a community, and it's a big friendship, and everybody gets to know each other. So yeah, even though you're new, 10 years, welcome into the team. So
yeah,
now
and I always say, what, SAP was not my first job. I started actually as a consultant at Accenture, and then I moved to a hosting provider. So therefore, I'm coming a little bit closer to this 20 years experience.
See, there you go. You just haven't been at SAP though. But you're in the 20-year boat with us, I'm telling you. So now you guys got together, and this is not the first book. This is the second book. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody out there, if you actually saw the first book, there's another book about this. This is the new book. So make sure you pick up this one. And this is where all the info is that's very, very current. So just to let everybody know that. And one thing that I liked about this book is that you actually kind of literally broke it out and told people kind of here's the deal. It's not, more like, everybody could understand it language. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I think so. That was also the idea of the book. So we wanted to also write a book for somebody who's a newbie to S4HANA Cloud, because sometimes at SAP we have a lot of information. We have dedicated teams, a lot of people are creating blogs, they are creating YouTube videos, all these things, which is all great in itself, but you can get lost a little bit when you start to look around and try to have a good entry point. And therefore we said, okay, let's write a book where somebody who's new to this topic has a good overview and structured introduction in the topic with its different aspects. Yeah. And we wanted, as you said, write it in an easy language. Sometimes in SAP, we're pretty heavyweight in our language, I would say, speaking in our own terminology.
I know, everybody's got their acronyms. Everybody's like, what's that? And you're like, oh, that's
Here you go, yeah.
I know. But there are so many different offerings to learn about S4HANA Cloud. So, and you still decided to write a book about it. I mean, what was the whole thing? Almer, what did you think about that?
Yeah, and look, there are different aspects. So, and one thing is Marcus mentioned it already. If you there are tons. What is the bigger term of tons? I don't know, megatons or whatever of information material. So you get. For everything you get the information. You can in 2 sentences you go into all the details and you can find it out. Yeah. So, but on the other side, as like to keep an overview and understand where are these details are tying together. That's a tricky piece. Yeah. So and therefore there is the motivation. But there is also another one, because when I first time applied for a job at SAP, it's a long time ago. And I said, okay, I need to learn something. I mean, of course, I'm here from this region. I knew already some things about the company, but I didn't really know what they're really doing. And then I tried to find information like, okay, what is it? And literally there was nothing out there which tells you, this is how it's structured, these are the components, this is the architecture, this is the UX, this is how it all tied together and those kind of things. So this was really literally a personal experience I had in the past and where I suffered a lot. I think if I do an internet search, I think still find my questions to some crazy forums where I can find this information. So yeah. This is one let's say personal thing which where I relate to and say, okay, this is great in order to get an introduction, because you don't really know in which area of S4 you would go, because it's really huge. Yeah? And this book gives a great overview and gives you a good understanding of all the topics which are in there.
Yeah, I love that, because, a lot of people talk about one specific topic, but they really don't get the big picture of why this all works together and how it all fits. And so this is, your book is great because you actually did break it down. So anybody that's trying to get the understanding of what exactly we're talking about here, S4HANA Cloud, this is going to give you a much better, interesting way of doing it. And I like the fact that you guys broke down the different chapters, some insights like, you talk about different things. And I like the use cases and the business cases, business reasons behind it. A lot of people are, it's very much like, oh, it's just that we have next thing. But I love that you actually, came up with reasons.
Exactly, yeah. And we always try, also just to add to Almer's point, we try to stay on a conceptual level, yeah. So of course there's always details out there, and there is always the latest and greatest that you can learn. But we try to stay on this level that is also not outdated too fast. Yeah. So and I think that's the main value to Almer's point, why we said, okay, let's write a book, even if there are so many things out there already, but it's sometimes difficult to see in which way you consume those things. And if you understand it conceptually, then it's also easier to understand the latest and greatest.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Also to add to that, it is not easy to write such a book, because we deliver every month, every quarter, we deliver thousands of features and functions. So in order to keep track on that, so it's like, I mean, it's impossible, I would say. But let's say, therefore, it's important to keep it at a level which is not outdated after half a year or two even, yeah? So I think this book will still have its relevance maybe in 5 years. Maybe some things will change, of course, but in order to get an introduction and an overview of the topics which are described there, I think it will be still a good reading.
Okay, so here's going to be the big question everybody really wants to know. What is the difference between all of these versions? You know, we're talking S4, you know, it goes all over the place, and, you know, cloud, on-prem, you know, off to industry specific. I mean, Rise, there's that new one, Grow. Can you give me a high level of kind of where we're at? What exactly is S4, you know, and where are we going with this?
I would start, and Marcus, then you add, because you have thrown some of the topics into this pot. And let's start first with, and the book is called S4HANA Cloud. And in cloud, we have two different products. And one is the public edition, and the other one is the private edition. So this is, I think, important to start with that, to understand that we, of course, we are in the cloud world. We are a cloud company. We are gaining most of our customers in the cloud world. But nevertheless, we have two distinct products, and they are targeting also two different customer segments, I would say. Yeah, just stay at this level. Of course, then we have different differentiation in terms of industries, but maybe Marcus, you can add something later on. So let's start with the private edition. I mean, the private edition is something which is, what is a product which can be configured and adjusted to a bigger extent. So that's important. You have a lot of flexibility, and it's focusing on customers or companies which have implemented specific or rather complex processes. But when I'm saying this, it doesn't mean that it's the only case. It's like always you have a gray zone, but just, let's say, the straightforward case is basically that, and many of these customers, they are already existing customers, but we have also many new customers. So it's always like, it's a majority, but we have a lot of others. Yeah, there's always like these things. So, and these customers for the private cloud, they have often processes which cannot be found really in other industries or in other companies, and they have some specific topics in there, and have also, for example, also some compliance topics, huge scalability, the requirements to adjust things to their needs, large and huge volumes. So these are, it could be, let's say, some of the biggest companies in the world, and we have them. Like BMW, I think this was one of the recent announcement. It's one of the, I mean, everybody knows BMW. They have put now all their operations on the private cloud, as they have many of these requirements. And they can, and in the private cloud, they can also, customers can decide if the product is run on the SAP data center, or on a service provider like Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud and so on. And they can choose if SAP provides the services for the cloud, or if a partner does it. So this is, let's say, private cloud, let's say the more complex, more tailored, but still cloud, still powerful, with all the benefits, or many of the benefits which you have in the cloud. Then if we look at the public cloud edition, this is really a pure SaaS, software as a service ERP solution. Yeah? It is really based on best practices and can be implemented very fast. So we have customers who have implemented our public cloud edition within 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yes, and then
startups are great for that.
Definitely, yeah, and you don't have to bother like, okay, is this really is this enough for my financial? Yes, it is, definitely. It is a full system. It delivers everything what you need. I mean, fast implementation, you have lower initial costs, of course, the total cost, the TCOs are lower. So, And then there you, of course, you can still also configure and extend the solution, but not to the extent as a private cloud, for example. Right. Yeah. And what is also important for the public cloud, of course, SAP runs it always, so there is no choice. And you get frequent updates. So we have also monthly deliveries, but like you can switch on functionality and innovations immediately if you like. So basically you get fast innovations. Yeah, and then you don't have to take care about really upgrades. When I do the upgrades, and stuff,
service pack.
You don't have any choice. You get it. Yeah. So this is like to distinguish between private and public cloud. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as a starting point, I think enough explanation. I don't know, Marcus, or Kendall, you asked about industries, about on-prem and so on.
Yeah. So the one important thing is, Kendall, you said versions. We use by intention, we use edition, because version is sometimes the meaning, there's a version 1 and version 2. And the one is the old one, the other the new one. So we're saying these are additions, just to emphasize
offerings. Sometimes I hear that word.
Yeah, so that it's two different products, and then we have still the on-premise out there. So you can see S4 as a kind of product family, if you will. And in this product family, there is S4HANA Cloud with its two editions, which Almer just explains. And then there is, of course, also this on-premise product. And on-premise is the traditional way of software delivery, where a customer has its own data center, also provides its own hardware, its own network devices, also usually its own skilled IT staff to maintain all these things. Also then installs the software and operates the software.
So it's more like what they're used to.
That's what they're used to. We're still supporting this, but we see a tendency in the market towards the cloud, and we see, as Almer said, different customer situations, and therefore we said, as SAP, we made the decision. We need for both customer situations, we need a specific product edition, and that's why we have these three products under the S4 family.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Maybe one aspect, Kendall, if I may add, is like we have also sometimes a mix setup. Like if you're a big company and then acquire another company, smaller one.
Yeah.
So and this company has maybe different solutions, different ERP vendors, and so on, and then you want to bring this all together. So then you could run it in a two-tier scenario. So basically the subsidiary or the company which will have to acquire runs on the public cloud, which is basically instantly installed and implemented, and then you connect it basically to the mothership, if you like. And
it's great. It's great when you buy a company, put them in on, that, and then drag, put them over. It's an easier way to do that, or that's what I've seen. I've seen multiple instances where they're all on different things, so, some companies have so many different products and they're all working to get to it, but, one at a time kind of situation.
Yeah, it's not just when you buy a company, but also when you sell again this company, So basically you can say, okay, now you have your own SAP public cloud edition. You can run, you can run by your own. Of course, you don't have to consolidate to your mothership if you like, but you can still run it as an example.
That's true.
So it depends on the customer situation. We basically cover most of the scenarios, which helps. And depending on the customer situation, you have to choose like, okay, what is best for me? Yeah.
So now we've figured out what private and public is for. And then now tell me about Rise and Grow.
Yeah, maybe let's, I go with the Rise. Then Almer can explain what Grow.
Is he doing Grow?
Thank you. So in simple words, you can say, as we explained, S4 for Cloud is a product which comes into different editions. And with Rise, you can think about the comprehensive offering, which includes S4HANA Cloud as its main component of this offering. Plus, it has also additional tools and services underneath. So examples are SAP Readiness Check or a custom code migration. We also have acquired a company called SAP Signavio, which is good in business process management. Yeah, exactly. So this is also coming with it. And our marketing message is usually that this is a transformation engagement, and I think this fits it really good, yeah, because in the end it's about bringing a company's ERP, its traditional ERP landscape, towards a new one. But this is not only about changing an IT system. So processes needs to be changed. So it needs a structured way of handling this. And it starts by analyzing, improving the current business processes with tools like SAP Signavio, and it ends with continuous adoption of this new functionality. And the beauty of it is, and that's why it's pretty successful, because it's an engagement and an offering with a single contract partner, which is SAP. Yeah, so every things that customers need to deal with, they will contact SAP, and SAP has, of course, also a big ecosystem of partners, and this can be included as well in this offering. Yeah? So that's the main difference. Yeah. So in simple words, S4 is the product. RISE is the comprehensive offering that includes the product, but plus also additional services, if you will.
Yeah. So you guys just put a bunch of things together and was like, this is a great way of doing it. So I'll take some of this and this and this. We'll make it RISE, and then like a little package kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago for startups, maybe, and therefore, if you're a startup, you like to grow, and maybe from there they grow with SAP. I don't know who has invented the term, but maybe this is like how it.
Y'all are doing flowers.
Marketing came to that thing like grow, and grow is really it's an offering of our S4HANA Cloud, the public edition, and mainly targeting mid-sized companies. Yeah. And it is a package which is really targeting to make this implementation adoption of our public cloud edition faster, yeah, and easier for the mid-sized companies, because they, as we have talked about, they don't have I don't know, tons of consultants or a big IT department that they can implement. They can afford it to spend a lot of efforts in the long and complex projects. So they need something something quick, something easy to implement, and that's basically behind it. And it's also it's a package, yeah, which includes services, knowledge or learning resources, basically, which you can access. Yeah, I mean, basically access for free. You have guided expert support to activate the best practices processes, which is also one main pillar there. So you have the best practice processes.
Isn't that mainly like industries, like? Didn't it kind of like you could get I don't know where I read this somewhere, about industry specific for Grow, that they were saying like, oh, if this is for mid-market, maybe not. Probably not.
Not
I thought there was something in there about making it easier for that mid-market company to jump on, you know, everything was kind of there.
Yeah, of course, it's there. I mean, if we have certain processes for certain industries, we would not go into complex manufacturing with. I would not necessarily go, but if the company decides, well, it still fits, but they would. I mean, would a startup be in complex manufacturing? Most likely no. Yeah, no. But therefore it's excluded. But we have some. I mean, for all the industries, our finance solution fits. Yeah, definitely.
No, it's true. All those finance. Yeah.
That's there. I mean,
insurance.
Independently, which size you in which industry you are, you can use our finance solution, definitely.
Yeah,
but I think you look at also some other best practice processes for your industry and for your company. Therefore, they have to be also in our Grow offering. More the service related companies, or when we're talking about manufacturing, there's, let's say, more the component manufacturers and so on. So we're covering all these topics as well. But with this easy implementation package, a lot of resources about trainings and learnings, and also exchanging with the SAP communities. All these things are there so that help you to implement a solution without without many IT resources.
Okay, so let's say I'm already on SAP S4HANA and Cloud. And so what can you say, what can you recommend to me since I'm already live on S4HANA Cloud? Is there anything that's like, what am I missing? Is there anything cool and exciting, new, something I should be doing? No?
So yeah, so what we recommend, you know, to if you are live, it's, you're already, you made a good first step and made a good decision. So you're on the right product. So that's the first thing. So congratulations on this one.
There you go. I know. I'm on Sapphire. I'm up on stage. I'm presenting.
Exactly. So, but then, you know, there is something, you know, it's in comparison to an on-premise environment, there's much less to do, but there is still work to be done, even in a cloud environment. Yeah. So when we look, for example, on the public edition, as Almer said, we have regular updates. Yeah. So we have 2 releases a year with a lot of new innovations or functionality that's to come. Sometimes also changes you need to be aware of. And we go into a more frequent update mode as well, yeah. So in monthly shipments, and for that, you know, you need to have still a team that needs to look at those things. So to figure out what's relevant for my particular situation, yeah. What does make sense to adopt, yeah. What changes are coming that affect my end users? I need to prepare for that.
Yes.
For that, we need a dedicated team, and that's what we see as a success criteria of customers who run the solution smoothly. You know? So in additional, you know, after, what's also very important is to have also after go live a kind of cloud mindset. Yeah. So and that means project teams are changing. So usually the project team that implemented the solution is to some extent not the team that will operate the solution afterwards. So this dedicated team I'm talking about. So new people are coming in with a kind of, from the traditional world, they also need to understand what these best practices are, what the other benefits are of a cloud environment, the extensibility concepts, for example, just to ensure that you run also the implementation, the solution afterwards in a good way. Other than that, in applying the traditional concepts and trying to configure and adjust everything to your needs, because then we're back to some degree in the old world and have the same kind of problems. Yeah, and that's what you should try to avoid.
I agree, because if you really have to stay ahead of the curve. You've got to be able to move, pivot fast, because trends happen. And, you know, if your company can't catch up with everybody else, then you're like a year behind the game, and you've lost out, you know, your market value there. So I totally agree with that. And also with all of this, you're doing embedded AI, you know, end-to-end processing, you know, so I think all of these new things can make these companies just faster, better, stronger, like we always love to say. But I think everybody needs to understand that this is a great thing for a company overall. And so let's ask, what do you see as ERP trends for 2023 and beyond?
Let me maybe start. So this is, I mean, the first big trend is the ongoing and accelerated adoption of cloud. I mean, we touched on the different aspects and the different flavors, yeah. But the cloud is there, and if you look at SAP, where we're growing the cloud. If you look at our competition, unfortunately, they're growing there as well. But I think this is clearly saying that the market is, and all our customers and companies out there, they're going towards the cloud. So this is, I mean, is this a trend? I don't know. This is just like, it's a fact. It's now, it's there. It's not anymore a trend. It's clearly a table stake, I would say, right? So that's I think very important. On the other side, what we also see, and I mean, there are many things, but just to focus on some, I think what is very important are sustainable operations, for example. They have to protect the environment. So, and here I think SAP is very much leading. So on one side you have, I mean, we all know what are the costs of a product. Yeah, you have labor, you have resources, and so on. Now what is coming is basically also the damage you're doing or you're causing with that to the environment. So these are also certain costs, yeah. And so let's say the financial implications and the environmental implications are somehow similar. I mean, don't quote me on that, but somehow there is a certain cost. There is a certain footprint of, or carbon footprint, which is, let's say, a problem. And therefore, SAP is very early in that game, and we are able really to bring this into the product, yeah, and we call it the green ledger. And with that, the companies have basically, when running their financials, they have also the.
I saw that. I talked to Janet about that. That does controlling. I don't know if you know her. She wrote a book about controlling.
Yes,
she was talking about
Salmon. Yeah.
As she was telling me, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to know the green thing on every product. I'm like, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to.
Yes.
But then I thought, if they put that number on there, will companies be taxed on it?
I don't know, but maybe at the end, as a consumer, if you want,
consumers could be.
Let's think this through. As a consumer, you want to print out like, okay, in this product, you're buying the costs, the environmental costs are this or that. Then, and for a similar one are lower. Then you might rethink it. I mean, it's not that we have it right now, but I mean, this is.
It could be like consumer taxed on it, on the number. It comes up and says. I mean, you never know. It's all kind of crazy, that whole, you know, but you've got to be a company that's able to, you know, swing, pivot, move, and get with the rest of them. If that does happen, you'll be, you know.
Yeah, and I think then when you're exposing something to consumers or to tax authorities, this number has to be valid. Yeah, therefore we treat this data the same way like financial data. Yeah, and I think this is. I mean, we have that in our product, but it's definitely a trend. It's an obligation, and I think this will continue and will accelerate also towards really being clear on what our sustainable operations are. Yeah, but maybe Marcus, you want to spend something about like other trends like hyper automation or AI.
For example, so for example, yeah, so I would agree also to the trends what Almer just outlined, but other things like hyper automation, yeah, is a good thing maybe, Almer. Yeah? So because what we're seeing is that we have technologies out there like artificial intelligence and machine learning out there since a while. They are not new. What's new now is that they are more and more adopted, and that they are becoming more and more mature. You know? So that's I would say the difference, a kind of turning point. And we as SAP invest a lot in those technologies in a way that we always, you know, we are a business process company. I would say we're also always looking from this angle. So how can these technologies help in the end our customers, our end users, to become more effective, more efficient in their daily work they have to do. And I think the beauty of this technologies is that I mean, automation is not a new thing. It was potentially the target of ERP systems since they were invented, so to be more automated. But what's new there is that with these hyper automation technologies like machine learning, the system can identify new patterns themselves, and then apply it. The problem with this is not the technology, I would say. It's a little bit gaining trust on the humans who are using these technologies, because They need to trust these technologies so that they are doing at least the same good way of work the users would do themselves, and hopefully even better. Yeah, and that's
I think that's because a lot of users have not trusted the data that they got, because systems in the past were all over the place, various systems, and they were like, if I get this information, is it really right? You know, how do you validate it? But with S4, I mean, you're like, yeah, it is right. And you can actually prove it. And they can follow the, you know, like you said. And I think once users understand that, I think they'll be a lot more adapting to other things happening.
Exactly. And this is also a good other point. You're saying technology is all over the place. That's also a little bit another trend I would see from my point of view. Gartner would call it the composable ERP system. So that's the term they are using. And you can think a bit about there's a core ERP functionality that everybody's using. And then there are different other parts which some customers will use, others not. But in the end, everything needs to fit together. And for a customer and the end user, they shouldn't care about where this particular piece of software is running. It just has to work. And this is what composable ERP is all about, to be more flexible in the different components you're using and sticking those together. Yeah? So this is also another trend I would see.
That's cool.
Actually, all these discussions we had about, like, is it the public edition, is it the private edition, and so on, should go away. So you as a business user just log onto your system and say, okay, I run the process. I don't care what.
Oh my gosh, I have said that a lot of times. I'm like, it's S4. So let's stop talking about all the other stuff. Let's just say it's S4.
Should be taken care of. You just say, okay,
the guy who's buying it.
These are the capabilities. This is what I need. And then you press a button and then you get it instantly deployed, available, and can run it. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is also the vision we're working towards, and this is also my personal vision. Where, if you ask me, where should SAP be with say our core business process, say exactly there. So we have a business process as a service. You just press a button and you instantly have it. Yeah.
Yes.
Will take some time until we're there, but definitely. We have started this endeavor and we are going there. And in some areas we have it already, and we are very close to that. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I'm going to open it up to the floor to let people ask some questions to you guys. So the first question that's come in is, will tech like ChatGPT find its way into SAP S4HANA and its intelligent technology?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start. So yes, we have a couple of initiatives ongoing in SAP, and one of those is, for example, regarding how to help users better in a way like a digital assistant. So I think for this, ChatGPT is a very good technology. I
Didn't it go in like with CRM and all that stuff? I mean, the CX and with customer experience. I mean,
yes, potentially as well. I'm not so deep into CX because I'm an S4 guy, but potentially these guys our colleagues are looking at this as well. Yeah? So the short answer is yes. So we think this will definitely find its way. We are looking in how the technology is advancing closely, and we are looking at, again, as always, SAP with this business process perspective. How can we improve business processes, and how can we help our end users in working with the product? That are the two dimensions, I would say. We're looking in that, how this technology can help.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We have to ensure basically also the reliability. Yeah. So when you're entering something into ChatGPT, depending on how many, I mean, if you tried it out, depending on how you phrase the questions, how you interact, you can get different results. Yeah. And then of course, as we are talking about enterprise grade software and business software, and sometimes with financial implication and so on, we have to be really sure that the outputs are valid, and therefore there are different use cases. Of course, I mean, maybe it is easier to implement it somehow in the CX environment where you get some I don't know, product recommendation or something like this. Yeah. On the other side, to implement it into, let's say, legal areas which you require for financials, there we need to be, say, a little bit more thorough, I would say. Yeah?
We'll have to have everybody SAP verbally fluent.
Yeah.
So our terms, our acronyms to be able to.
Yeah.
So here is a really good question. I know this is a good one. Are SAP S4HANA and SAP BTP the same, or is S4HANA a foundation for extending services to the cloud? Can we read it again?
I start. Yeah. Well, let's start. It is not the same. It's two different things. Nevertheless, they are tightly, or they are very much linked together, and they enhance each other. They I'm missing the
I like to say it's like this. It's like a spider web that's kind of put on top.
Yeah, they're complementing each other.
They work together.
Each other. So the BTP, of course, S4HANA Public Cloud runs also on BTP and the BTP is basically the foundation, if you like. Yeah. So nevertheless, the business technology platform is our platform where we do, for example, where we build applications or parts of S4 are really natively also built on BTP. Some others are in the core and so on, but they are also linked together. And the BTP is essential also to build if customers or partners want to build applications, they build it on BTP and then can also integrate it to S4. That's one thing. And also as a customer, if you want to extend our cloud offerings, you would do this if you have more, let's say, a sophisticated
multiple versions.
You would build it on BTP as an example. Yeah. Marcus, do you want to add something?
Yes. So I would say, as you said, is it the same? No. But you can think of it when you think of a layered architecture. BTP, as Almer said, is the foundation, the technical foundation. S4 runs on top, but also other things can run on top. Yeah. So that means we as SAP develop own additional products, capabilities on top of BTP. Also partners can develop things on top, but also when it comes to extensibility, also customers can create own applications on top of the business technology platform. You have
it's great for supply chain, all these crazy supply chain things that, like on the shop floor, some of those weird applications that might pertain to bringing them in. I mean, BTP is
weird is maybe a word I would use.
I mean, like just some strange application that no one else uses that they built. I don't want to.
Yes, there are several. So this is the 2B platform for SAP, technology platform, that we're saying every new capability will be built on. And you mentioned the digital supply chain applications. Those are examples of those. Yeah. So you have a development environment underneath, so you can develop application different programming languages. So development runtime also, those kind of things. Yeah. So that makes it easier for developers to create new applications, so reusable services, all this sort of things. So that's the way you can look at it. Yeah. So
I like that one. Okay, here's the next one. How can we integrate external systems with S4HANA Cloud? Are IDOCs supported? Ooh, it's somebody from ECC world.
I don't think that IDOCs are. You can easily integrate external applications, so that's one thing. And this is also going to happen via BTP as an example, because there we have the connection tools. IDOCs are not supported anymore, I think. Yeah, so this is, let's say,
I don't think they are either. I think they're ECC-based stuff.
We have, of course, a lot of interfaces. We have APIs. They are published, so you can find them on our help pages. So you can look up basically which interfaces exist, or the definitions, like all the objects, what is it, characters, length, and everything what you need to do in order to integrate. So basically, it's a completely open system, yeah? And that's also it's on one side that you have the extensibility via some of the APIs within our, let's say, environment, but also that partners can plug in their products or their applications, but also some others where we, of course, integrate with other vendors. Yeah.
And they're like migration manager or something? Migration? There's some kind of migration tool or migration manager or something. I don't know.
Of course, we have within S4HANA Cloud, we have data migration cockpit, and so on. So this is something also which you need. I mean, if you want to feed the system with data from the outside, you need to be able to get them somehow in. Therefore, of course, you need to have, let's say, these interfaces that you can migrate all your data from your legacy systems into S4.
Yeah. Okay, here's the next one.
So maybe just to add one thing, the way it works in S4 Cloud is there's a central, let's say, a website that's called the API Business Hub. So that's usually the starting point. So and then you go there, and then you search for maybe a business object. So usually APIs are rated around a certain business object. And then you get the APIs that are available. They are available in different kind of technologies, like RESTful web services in different versions and so web services. So that's from a technology point of view. But this is publicly available. You can easily search for these APIs, and then also look into what parameters you need to. As an input parameter and what you get out of it. Yeah, so this is all I would say in comparison to the past, pretty good structure. Meanwhile.
Okay, cool. All right, so here's a good one. Can we create custom fields and custom document types in SAP S4HANA Cloud?
Yes. Right. So there are. I mean, this is a question which goes into extensibility. So the first thing is, of course, we always recommend to stay in the standard. Especially if you are in the public cloud edition, it's also linked with, let's say, the cloud mindset. Can I run the system as it is? Yeah. So that's the first thing. It's the best thing. You have less hassle. But of course, we know that in many situations, we need to have some extensibility. And here we have, let's say, different kind of extensibility. So we have key user extensibility, where you can, without doing some coding and so on, you can enhance the system. Yeah. So I think adding a field or so, or setting up custom reports, that falls under this. Then we have the side-by-side extensibility, which means that we would do the extensibility via the BTP. Yeah, would build an app on BTP, and then this app would integrate to our S4 Public Cloud Edition. And then we have also the in-app extensibility. And this is something like, okay, where you would need some coding skills there. And then there you can do basically most of the stuff you are used, let's say, historically. More, I don't know, most of the stuff, but of course, in the past, you could do everything, literally. Of course, this is a little bit limited, but you can do many of these things, and of course, add fields and custom reports and those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, you can pretty much do what you want to do in it. I mean, SAP will. I think. I mean, if you're a customer and you really want to do it, SAP will somehow help you figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the last one, and it's around y'all's favorite topics. Does Rise or Grow apply to industry-specific offerings such as utility, pharma, aerospace as well? I think Rise or Grow pertains to
it is Rise. Grow it is not. In Grow, I would not expect that we would have these companies as they're in nature, let's say, some more complex from what I know, and maybe, but it depends if you're just an, I don't know, small company in aerospace and defense and have just financials running, why not? But that's always like, okay, if it fits,
just
why
a
not?
Distribution company, maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
not in manufacturing. I don't think manufacturing would.
But it
go
is
on
more rice. There I think we would have a rice package. I mean, I don't think that it would be tailored to this industry, but of course you would have all the industry applications which you require, if there are any. Yeah. So, but I don't know it from the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah, and if you got any kind of like federal, like in the US, we have some of these federal guidelines and stuff that you have to do. I don't believe Grow would work. I think you're going to have to definitely go on the RISE path on that one.
For sure. Yeah. Defense and security. I wouldn't go for Grow.
Yeah.
And
but
again, if you need some, specific, as I said, RISE is also open for additional partner engagements, and therefore, if you have or find a partner that has this expertise, that's also possible to combine that. I'm not aware of any industry flavored RISE offerings. Maybe that has changed. Meanwhile, I'm not, dealing with RISE on a daily basis, so therefore I don't have the latest.
We are actually utility SAP, the utility SAP partner. We bought Utegration. Oh. And we've got all the, everybody knows about them with Henry Bailey and crew. And so we have all these like things online with the store that you can buy to put in. So you could go like one of those and then buy one of those and put it in if you're in that regulated industry that these, utility, pharma, aerospace. But I don't know. We'll have to call Henry and ask him.
Yeah. So please don't quote us about the industry-specific offerings on RISE. Yeah. So
you can call me and I'll call Henry Bailey.
Right.
So also let's talk about do you have does the customer have a choice preference to have their SAP solutions hosted on IBM Power on cloud and be able to support region limited to France SAP support?
Can you repeat that, please? I didn't read.
I know. Does the customer have a choice preference to have their SAP solutions hosted on IBM Power on cloud and be able to support region limited to France SAP support?
That's a very, I would say it's too specific, because IBM Power, I think that the requester means the power, so that the hardware category of IBM. And,
that sounds like cloud, but on-prem is my guess.
Exactly. I mean, in on-prem, you have anyway the choice to run your own hardware. Power systems are supported. My knowledge was one of the premium partners in the past, and I think it's still valid. So if it's an on-premise question, then I would say to 99%, I would say yes. Yeah. When it comes to cloud, usually that's a little bit the wrong question, I would say. Yeah. So you shouldn't care about what kind of hardware runs underneath. Yeah. So you're getting a service, and how your if SAP is running the service for you, or one of the other partners is running that for you, you shouldn't care about what hardware is running underneath. Yeah. So therefore, these are the two different directions of an answer. But when it comes to on-premise, I would say yes. Here you go. IBM Power is still supported.
And I think does France have some kind of like tax something different or something? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe there's no reason. I was wondering why they wanted a France support. Maybe they're in France.
So there you have one part which requires that you have support within the European Union. I mean, SAP ensures this if this is required. This option is available. I mean, specific to a country. I mean, this might be some services which are linked to state state and legal topics.
That's probably, maybe that's it.
I cannot really answer this just really high level in general what we have. And
sorry about that. We'll get your SAP rep on that. So anyway, we have Sapphire coming up. And so there are so many sessions that involve your topic. And I was wondering if y'all perused through the list and saw any that are highlighted that you might think that everybody should attend.
I think there's definitely the keynote from Jan Gilk, who was talking about S4. So there are some great demos about our UX. So just the door next to me, colleague Chris Hoffman is just preparing it, saying, okay, he's going to have a demo pod, and is also going to have a demo he's just right now preparing. So yeah, so
tell
many,
him good luck from us.
Yeah, look it up. There are so many sessions, great, interesting stuff. And this is exactly the thing, like, depending on the topic you are interested, you can really go into the details, but definitely the keynotes are worth watching it. There will be some great new stuff which will be presented. Right now, we cannot really talk about that.
Oh, I know. What's he going to say? Anything? Have you seen the script?
Sorry, right now we can't say anything. So it's like there will be some good announcement and some launches. Yeah.
I can recommend the roadmap session for S4HANA Public Edition, S4HANA Cloud Public Edition. I saw some good innovations there, and there's a dedicated session out there. So stay curious and watch it out. Yeah, so this is
I know. So we're actually one thing that's so I will be at Sapphire. So anybody out there, come find me. I'm at the Cognizant booth, or call me up. I'm always around. And also for your book, we have a discount code. So Book Club 15, you get 15% off by being a book club member, which is cool. So that's pretty exciting. And our next book coming up is something that I actually pushed for because y'all are gonna dive. This is great. It's Signavio, and nothing has been written about Signavio. And so we got a e-bite, and we're gonna do that in June, so we can kind of talk to people about business process transformation and going into S4HANA Cloud and not being a brownfield, but let's make it a whole entire journey. So I'm excited about that.
Very good.
Good. I know. So thank you guys so much for having us, and thank you everybody for attending. And don't forget, I will see you at Sapphire. And thanks, Marcus, and thanks, Almer.
Thank you, Kendall. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.